Hamas's leader Ismail Haniyeh has been assassinated in Iran's Tehran. Iran's Nar News confirmed the death, saying Hamas's chief Haniyeh's residence was hit by an airborne projectile. In a statement, Hamas mourned the death of Haniyeh, who it said was killed in a treacherous Zionist raid on his residence in Tehran. The Revolutionary Guards confirmed that the residence of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran was struck in the morning, resulting in his and one of his bodyguards' death. The Revolutionary Guards also said that the cause is under investigation and will be announced soon. Hamas's officials termed it as a grave escalation, saying the assassination of Haniyeh will not achieve its goals. The Hamas chief attended Iran's new president, Masoud Pezeshkian's swearing-in ceremony on Tuesday. Iran's government has announced 3 days of public mourning in this regard. Israel has not yet commented anything on this assassination yet. But the world has reacted to the assassination of Hamas's political leader in Iran. Russia has condemned the killing of Hamas chief and called on all parties to refrain from steps that could tip the Middle East into a major war. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan condemned the assassination of Palestinian terrorist group Hamas's leader killing and said that it would not break the will of Palestinians. The Prime Minister of Qatar, which has acted as a mediator in ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas, suggested on Wednesday that the killing of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh could jeopardize efforts to secure a truce in Gaza. China, too, firmly condemned the assassination of Hamas's Politburo chief. And speaking to media, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken stressed on keeping focus on getting the ceasefire and not being distracted. This is in interest of those women, children, hostages and others stuck and affected by the situation, he said.
I think nothing takes away from the importance of, as I said a moment ago, getting to the ceasefire, which is manifestly in the interests of the hostages and bringing them home. It's manifestly in the interests of Palestinians who are suffering terribly every single day, children, women, men, in Gaza who've been caught in this crossfire of Hamas's making. It's profoundly in the interest of trying to put things on a better path, not only in Gaza, but actually throughout the region, because so much is tied to what's happening in Gaza right now.
So DD India's Sarah Coates joins us live from Tel Aviv now. Sarah, what do we know more of Ismail Haniyeh's assassination? Have more details emerged out of this killing?
Hello there, Tanvi. Just to elaborate on what we just heard from the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, he's also come out in the last few minutes to say that the United States was not aware of this and was also not involved. Now, this happened in the very early hours of the morning in Tehran. It happened when Ismail Haniyeh was in the country. Of course, he had been attending the inauguration of Iran's new president. Now, he was staying at a special residence for retired war veterans. He was killed alongside his bodyguard. And we do, of course, have a lot of reaction coming in. We've heard from Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He's come out to say that Israel has brought the severest punishment on itself with the assassination of Haniyeh on our land. Also, we've heard from Hamas's armed wing saying that the killing of Haniyeh will have major repercussions, calling it a treacherous Zionist act. Now, we do understand that the funeral for Ismail Haniyeh will be held in Tehran tomorrow on Thursday, with his body then taken to Qatar after that. But really, Tanvi, what this does is it does have major ramifications. It really ups the ante here in the Middle East, a region that was already on edge in the wake of Saturday's attack in the Golan Heights, which Israel had been blaming on Hezbollah.
Yes, so Hamas says Israel was behind the raid and Israel is yet to comment on this. What are we hearing from Israel as of now, and elaborate more on what does this mean for the ceasefire and hostage release talks?
We do understand, according to Hebrew media, that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he's instructed his cabinet members not to comment. Now, a little earlier, the Israeli government press office, it did actually post an image on its Facebook page of Ismail Haniyeh with a stamp across his forehead that said, "Eliminated." Now, that has since been removed. And really the only minister we've heard from in the wake of this killing of Ismail Haniyeh is from the Defence Minister, Yoav Gallant. He's not addressing it, but he has come out to say that Israel does not want a war, but is fully prepared for it. Now, in terms of these ceasefire and hostage negotiations that were ongoing, it certainly complicates things, given that Ismail Haniyeh was doing the negotiating on the end of Hamas, given that the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, is believed to be hiding deep underground in this labyrinth of tunnels in Gaza. So certainly this will have implications on that. We can potentially expect the war in Gaza to continue now for some time. But in terms of here on the ground in Israel, we do know that the Prime Minister Netanyahu, he will hold a security cabinet briefing in the coming hours. But in saying that, Tanvi, it really is business as usual on the ground here in Tel Aviv, at least. The Home Front Command has issued a statement saying that there's absolutely no change at this hour in the directive for the Israeli public, although it will update people if that does change.
Okay. Thank you. Sarah Coates joining us from Tel Aviv. The Israel Defense Forces said that top Hezbollah commander Fouad Shukr was killed in the Israeli strike in southern Lebanon on Tuesday. Israeli military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said Shukr was responsible for the death of 12 children in Majdal Shams in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. He further said Fouad served as the right-hand man to Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah and was his advisor for wartime operations.
The IDF carried out a targeted strike in Beirut on Fouad Shukr, also known as Said Muhsin. Fouad Shukr was the right-hand man to Hassan Nasrallah, Hezbollah's leader and his advisor in planning and directing attacks and operations. Fouad Shukr was the commander responsible for the Majdal Shams massacre, in which 12 children were murdered. The IDF will not tolerate terrorist attack on Israeli civilians.